Come on, admit it, for your next FM23 adventure, you want a club with a little bit of history and no shortage of heritage. Well, stay tuned, because we found them. We've got 3 FM23 Save Ideas for you, and each of these clubs were a founder member of their respective nations' league. And where better place to kick it off than Scotland, and a club that is based in a small town on the north bank of the Clyde. Dumbarton FC were founded in 1872 and are one of the oldest clubs in Scotland. They won the first Scottish League Championship in the 1890-91 season jointly with Glasgow Rangers, and they followed this up with another championship in 1891-92, and this time they got the trophy all to themselves. But those remain Dumbarton's only top-flight titles, although they do have the distinction of having won all 4 of Scotland's leagues at one time or another. But the move towards professionalism in Scottish football in the 1890s wasn't embraced by Dumbarton, and this is the point where their fortunes started to wane. They didn't challenge for the title again in the following seasons and were relegated out of the top flight in 1896. Since then, first-tier football has been a rarity, and their most recent appearance in the top flight was in 1895, making them the only Scottish champion never to have played in the Scottish Premiership. They are now a semi-professional club in the 4th tier of Scottish football. Now perhaps we should explain why they have an elephant on their badge. Well, for that, we need to head to the skies, and as you can see, their stadium is adjacent to the Dumbarton Rock, a rock that is supposed to look like an elephant, hence the emblem on the badge. And this is also the origin of their nickname, the Sons, or the Sons of the Rock. You'll take charge of Dumbarton as they celebrate their 150th anniversary. And what better time to start your quest towards securing them their 3rd ever league championship? If you could do it, beating Rangers and Celtic in the process, well, that has to be a contender for your best save ever. But it's time to catch a plane for our second club, who are in that footballing mecca of Brazil, but not in one of the hot spots such as Rio, nor are they based in Sao Paulo. Instead, we head to Brazil's northeastern extremity, Natal, in the state of Rio Grande do Norte. Now, football clubs around the world have been named after many things, including Greek heroes, as well as princesses, and even railway stations. But there can't have been many clubs that were named after an international peace treaty. But that is the route that ABC Football Club pursued. They were founded in a Natal theatre in 1915 when Argentina, Brazil and Chile had just agreed to a pact of fraternal friendship. This quickly became known as the ABC Pact, which the founders of the club decided to pay tribute to when naming it. They were the first team to be established in their entire state, and they've dominated football in the region with 57 titles, including 10 in a row in the 1930s and 40s. As a result of this domination, they qualified to take part in the first national championships known as the Taça Brazil of 1959. But their first involvement was not a success, and indeed, they've never made the step up from regional top dog to a national force. They currently sit in the Brazilian 3rd tier, and they haven't always been on the right side of the law. In 1973, they were suspended from Brazilian competitions for fielding ineligible players. This suspension led them to embark on a 112-day world tour, where they played the likes of Fenerbahce, Greek side Panathinaikos, as well as the national teams of Romania and Ethiopia. So perhaps you could make ABC your next FM23 adventure. You'd kick off with matches in the regional championship, the Campeonato Português, where you would hope to continue your regional dominance before you turn your attention to the national leagues. If you could climb the leagues and win the Brazilian title before local rivals America, you would become the first team from the state to be crowned Brazilian champions. Now that sounds to me like your opportunity to embark on your best save ever. But I think we have time for just one more club, don't we? And for our final suggestion, we need to head back across the Atlantic, and this time to Norway, where we will find Gjøvik Lyn, who were founded in 1902 as Sports Club and Thor, but quickly changed their name to Lyn, which translates as lightning. They began contesting football in their local leagues, but did well enough that one of their players was called up to Norway's first international match in 1908. Their strong performance in their local leagues meant that they joined 10 other clubs in the inaugural Norgesserien. The competition included some well-known clubs such as Odd, Southern Side Viking, and inaugural winners Fredrikstad. Unfortunately, Lyn lost their first and only tie 7-3, ironically, to another side called Lyn, but this one were based in Oslo. Gjøvik Lyn are probably best known for their cup history. In 1962, they won the Norwegian Cup whilst playing in the second tier, but it was not an easy ride and they needed 2 replays plus extra time to get past Sarpsborg on their route to a 2-0 final success. This meant they qualified for the following season's European Cup Winners' Cup, but unfortunately they were beaten 7-0 by Cypriot side Apoel. They are currently an amateur club competing in Norway's 3rd division, the lowest playable league in FM23. Home games are contested at the Gjøvik Stadium, which holds 4,500 spectators. And could this be the arena for your next great Scandinavian adventure? You could take charge of a club that requires 2 promotions before they are back as a top Norwegian side. Hopefully you would turn professional along the way and maybe improve your facilities so that you can start to develop the next batch of Udegaards and Haalands. Gjøvik have already experienced success in the cups, but they've never tasted that sweet nectar of winning the top flight in their nation. You could guide this tiny side back to qualifying for European football before beginning your title pursuit. And were you to make them league champions, surely that has to be a contender for your best save ever.